Good morning, afternoon, and evening. We have viewers from all over the world here tuning in. This is Al Otero with the Global Trade Chamber and
Maria Rene Davila with the Successful Women in Business and our webinar series. Thank you so much for being part of another chapter of our webinars every week.
more than once a week now. Everybody wants to get on here.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Definitely. We're doing great with this webinar series. People is learning a lot. We're receiving very good information presented by excellent professionals and experts in the industry. Today also we're launching our new studio, and we've been implementing lights, as you can see in the background. So we try to make it more fancy. Al doesn't like too much the lighting, but I do.
My eyes are going, what the?
Well, today we have a very special lady. She is part of our advisory board for the Global Arts Academy. She's also a good friend of the Global Trade Chamber.
Yes,
we're going to be doing a great project with her.
Yes.
She's also associate partner, I believe, with Angela Posilico. But that's not all.
Oh, there's more.
Akshata Prabhu, which is our special guest today, is also a award recipient for 2020 of our Successful Women in Business event.
Which is also with an incredible glamour project.
Yes, she's the founder actually of the this organization that, let me see more about the Glamour Project. She's doing a lot of events. The Glamour Project, International Glamour Project, which is the India's biggest international platform for beauty pageants. She focuses on teens, Miss, and Misses. Okay.
Wow.
So I can be part of that.
You can be all of them. It's only for women.
But today, Akshata is going to talk about something important. She's multitask, as you can see.
I don't know
she's
how
a
she
doctor.
Sleeps.
Yeah, she's a doctor, a pediatric dentist with over 8 years of teaching experience and over 10 years in clinical practice. Okay,
Amazing.
so she knows what she's talking about.
Amazing.
Known as one of the most popular clinicians in India. Wow, who understands behavior and psychology. You know, this is so important, especially in this crisis right now, to understand more about the behavior and the psychology part of how we are reacting to the situation we're living.
How we're managing this horrible virus. So we want her to let her say a few words.
We should, right? I think we're saying everything.
There's so much to say about it that we don't have enough time.
Welcome, Akshata.
Thank you so much, Al. Thank you so much, Maria Rene. It is an honor and a pleasure to be on this platform with the Global Trade Chamber as well as the 100 Successful Women in Business. And I have to say that both of you are doing great. The productivity that you're bringing to this platform, I have seen the topics that the previous experts, professionals have shared on this platform, and I have to say it has been phenomenal. You guys are reaching out to every nook and corner of the world, and not only in terms of your reach, but the magnanimity that your platform has shown is just phenomenal. So I'm so proud and so honored to be associated with the two of you and your brands.
Thank you so much, and we're honored to have you on our show.
We'd love you to be a part of everything we do because you're an inspiration to us. And as we share you with other people, you're an inspiration to people all over the world. That's amazing. So
Yes.
You're touching the world.
And talking about touching the world, we're going to talk about also something that is important and is happening everywhere and to everybody, which is the mental toughness, right? That's the name of the presentation today, the mental toughness workout. She's going to do a webinar relating to this topic, which is very important, especially now with the global crisis that we're living, with the virus that we don't know when it's going to end. So all this part is very important. Welcome again, Akshata, and please tell us more about your presentation.
Thank you. So, Al and Maria Rene, firstly, I was extremely elated when you gave me this opportunity to be an international speaker on your platform, and it gives me immense pleasure to be connecting to people all over the world not only United States, but I know some of my friends who've registered who are living in UK, Singapore, Philippines, and of course my
Yes,
home country, India. So we have in true sense gone global. I
yes,
would say.
yes.
And some from
Amazing.
South Africa as well. I missed that. So
Yes.
I'm so excited and honored to share my expertise, my knowledge, and I'll be honest why I chose this topic titled as the mental toughness workout, because in this pandemic. Hasn't this pandemic really shown us that it is about our strength, it is about our toughness. Each one of us has been pushed to limits, and honestly, with physical distancing coming into practice, social media and the digital world just rose to another level. And honestly, I would get every day in my news feed so many physical fitness workout videos. And what I thought is, okay, physical fitness is great, it's important, but what about the fitness that we need here? That's the most important. And that is why I
Wow.
decided, let's talk on mental biceps, how to build those rather than your actual biceps. So I said that yes, this is the platform I need. This is the opportunity that I need to grab, and this is the topic and the subject that I need to address. And with my expertise in understanding behavior and psychology with respect to my clinical patients, and my experience in the field of pageantry, not only being an international pageant queen but also organizing pageants in my country. So a whole lot of self belief and positivity and affirmation that is associated with the field of pageantry, that I bring to the core. And of course, I'm an entrepreneur. And in this economic downslide that this pandemic has really put each one of us into, there is no profession that has been spared. You know, you may be a
Mm.
doctor, an engineer, an IT professional, you may be in any sector. There's no sector that has been spared. But yet we need to be those balanced and very driven entrepreneurs with hope lying on the other side of the tunnel. So that is something that I bring to the table today. And there are a whole lot of techniques that I'm going to share with all of you out there to help you understand how really we need to work with this beautiful treasure, this beautiful gift called mind, which each one of us actually have that skill, but maybe we don't have the knowledge to access it. And we need to learn how to really toughen those skills and become that survivor, that fighter, that warrior, and then emerge as a winner. So I'm going to talk about all
Absolutely.
of this today.
I love it. I love it. So we're going to ask our executive producer, Chris, to show the presentation that you prepared for us. In the meantime, also, I want to let our audience know that Dr. Prabhu is also working on a book, right? You're writing a book that is going to be called Mental Toughness.
Yes.
So you know what you're talking about, because not only she's going to do the webinar, but also she's writing a book.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
can learn more about all these
I
techniques.
can't wait to get the book. I want a signed copy.
Obviously, you have it. Don't worry.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a very neglected area of our lives is how do we exercise our brain? Because we have so much brain power that we're not using. So it's definitely a challenge for us to learn how to do that. And I think that your patient sitting in the dentist chair, you must really relax them because it's not a fun thing to do, go to the dentist. So a lot of practice you have to relax people mentally.
Yes, yes, I've learned it over the years.
But in the meantime, probably you can start the presentation and tell us more about the topic.
And see if we can get it online, we will. But go ahead and start.
Fine, no problems. So, taking the topic ahead, now the mental toughness workout, as the name really suggests, it is for achievers, it is for leaders, it is for thinkers, it is for any individual that has a dream, has an aspiration, and a goal. Any individual who wants to carve a niche for himself or herself, any individual who wants to make a difference and be remembered. I'm also going to give a very important tip during this webinar is most of us, we kind of only exist, you know, trying to be a part of the rat race, and we forget to thrive. We forget to live. So surviving and existing is not the purpose that we human beings were made by the Almighty, by nature. Put whatever word you want as per your faith. But we human beings, each one of us, have a responsibility in doing something because we were born with a purpose. Now, each one of us needs to find that purpose to thrive as well as to live. So much so that it makes a difference not only to your own life, but also to someone else's life. And if you can make a difference to millions across the globe, nothing like it. Absolutely brilliant. So, the mental toughness workout is all about this. Uh, have you really heard this quote? I really came across this quote during the pandemic era, and it says that you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. Didn't the coronavirus pandemic do this to each one of us? I would say it had the survival of the fittest theory that we've all studied about played in action, or should I put it as survival of the strongest theory? Because
Mm.
each one of us, we had to go through challenges, obstacles, encumbrances, and it tested us whether we can overcome those challenges or no. And the fighters, the warriors, the survivors who have come across the other side as winners have been the ones who have been able to exercise their brain, their mind, and utilize this gift called the mind. So thank you once again, the Global Trade Chamber, Maria and Al, for giving me this opportunity to throw some light on this very much needed topic and subject. And I'm happy I'm discussing this with people all across the globe. So moving ahead, you've already given a beautiful introduction of mine, so I don't think I need to introduce myself. But what I would say is a beautiful namaste from me here, based in Mumbai, India. I am a pediatric dentist, as Maria already introduced me to. Where does this entire psychology and behavior come from? I have a master's degree to my credit. I have I'm a qualified pediatric dentist, and I have worked with children and adolescents for a period of 10 years in my clinical practice. So I definitely understand the human psyche a lot, because I've not only studied about it in theory but also applied it in practical, and that's where I bring my knowledge from. Apart from that, I love glamour. I have always been a part of the glamour industry. Glamour has been a part of my life. I've been a published model for about a decade here in India, and
Wow.
pouring into the international zone very soon. And I have two pageant titles to my credit: Miss International World India 2020 and Mrs. India World 2019. So a lot of pageantry related stuff also is being associated with my profile out there. I'm also an ambassador for various humanitarian causes, something that I have been dedicating my life to since the past 1.5 decade, be it child oral health care, be it talking about gender equality, women empowerment, talking about mental health, talking about maternal mental health. I've been promoting all these causes, and currently I'm focusing on my newest venture, which is the International Glamour Project, India's biggest internationally associated pageant platform for teens, Miss and Mrs. So, moving on, I would want to say that let us first understand what is this webinar for, what is it targeted at, who is this webinar for, and what is the purpose of this webinar. So, I already started my presentation saying if you are an individual with that aspiration, with that dream, with that goal, if you want to achieve something, this webinar is for you. This is the purpose of this webinar, which it's going to make you sit up and think and introspect a lot, because you may be doing a lot of things unconsciously or subconsciously. I'm going to make you aware of those things, and later you may be able to organize those things better in your life, and you will see the results in a very, very positive fashion coming on the other side. So my next slide was supposed to be about these two pictures that say there's a girl that goes like, wow, and she says, absolutely mind blowing. So that's the kind of response that she was going to give. And the other picture on the slide was some guy who's actually trying to feel his nerves and very baffled, very confused, mind boggling in the negative connotation that I was going to say. So he goes like, ooh and ah. So then I want to say that when somebody goes, wow, what does that mean? It evokes a response from here. It's about something which is remarkably miraculous, something very extraordinary, something very prodigious, something that just blows your mind. That's why it evokes that mind blowing wow from you. And why does the mind go ooh when you have a very mind boggling response, which is in a very negative connotation? Because your mind sometimes can't handle something that is thrown at it. Why does this happen? Where do these two responses come from? They come from one single entity, one particular entity, which is the mind. Now consider the mind to be an epicenter and these responses as waves. The velocity of these waves, the pressure of these waves, the magnitude, the severity, all depends on the epicenter. So it is the mind that is responsible to give out these waves and also decide the magnitude as well as the severity of these waves. So, with this, I want to tell you that this particular treasure or gift that we call a mind usually goes to through numerous processes. When you're trying to get that response, it may be a split second and you have that response. But before that split second response, there are these numerous processes that have undergone inside, and then you get that response. So basically, the first response that your mind goes through is it observes. It observes, and observation lies the first step of forming any process or further forming any response. The second thing is it garners knowledge, it garners information when it actually sees something or feels something. Third, it starts thinking. Fourth, it starts reasoning. So there's the rationale, that rationale part that is coming in. Fifth, emotions, the feeling associated with what you actually saw and what you actually thought and what you actually reasoned. That comes into picture. Then it comes to wishing. I wish this. I wish that. That's the wishing part. Then it goes to imagining, because our mind is blessed with something called as visual imagery. Before we can respond, you've already seen a picture of it. The photographic memory that you have, that's imagining. And when I say memory, then it goes to remembering something that you've seen somewhere, felt somewhere, experienced somewhere. So, and then your mind goes to a stage where you're judging. So I gave you 9 responses: observing, knowing, thinking, reasoning, feeling, wishing, imagining, remembering, and judging. And the last response, the 10th response, is responding, where your mind finally responds. Wasn't it chaotic? 10 different processes happening in this small Pandora's box called the mind, or some of you may call it the brain. It's quite a chaotic situation inside there, right? Can you even imagine all those neurons, all those synapses that is happening? I'm a doctor, so sometimes I like to visualize when I'm talking. So yeah, it's quite chaotic, quite complex, quite complicated. How do you put a leash on this chaotic situation? How do you calm yourself down? Doesn't stress become a byproduct of all these processes?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. It is in your hand how you can calm yourself down. Put a leash on your mind, your beautiful mind, that can run away helter skelter. Just like how you're taking your puppy dog out for a walk in the park and your puppy dog wants to run away and you try to pull that leash, your mind can behave exactly the same way.
So what you're saying is that these 9 responses happen at the same time, or is a different response based on the emotions or the things that we see?
Anything and everything that you see and you want to respond, all these 9 things happen in split seconds. It's so fast you won't even realize. It's
That's why
everything
I'm exhausted all the time.
Ali's super hyper, so he has what response?
It's like 200 things in 1 second.
So till you have your hyperactive response, your mind has already gone through step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, 8, 9, and then 10. 10th is the ultimate result that you see, which
So
is
you
your
jump from 1 to 10?
I don't have time for the 9. I just go from 1 to 10.
Yeah, so now it's time for us to put a leash, because that is a very important part of our mental workout, that what we're going to talk about. Now, if we apply conscious awareness to all of this, what we get is mindfulness. And mindfulness is something that I have not only experienced and practiced, but today, whatever information I'm giving you, it's not only theory or in terms of ideas. I have put it into practice, and so I'm giving you tried and tested results with my
That's
experiences. Yeah,
Excellent.
with my experiences as well as the experiences of my patients. So yes, so what we get is mindfulness. Now, what is mindfulness? You don't need to conjure up something to really understand mindfulness. Mindfulness is present in you, Al. It's present in you, Maria. It's present in me. It's present in each one of us. We have been gifted that by nature. But it's just that we're not aware. We don't know how to access it. We need to learn how to access it and make use of it, utilize it to its fullest potential. Because it's like allowing a moment of time to slip by without even you letting know. That means you're not being mindful. And for somebody who has so many goals, aspirations, dreams, you have about 700,460,93 things to do before you go to your grave, and you can't allow time to slip by. You can't allow moments to slip by. You want to catch on to them. It's like a sand timer. You've inverted it, it's already slipping by. If you don't catch it in time, if you're not aware, your life will be over and you won't realize it. That is why you need this exercise, like it is called mindfulness. You can call it your cardio, you can call it your burpees, you can give it whatever name that you want, but it is one of the most important workouts, because I gave the examples of cardio and burpees because you can't do without cardio. It has to be a part of your 7-day exercise routine. So your mental exercise routine needs to have mindfulness. You need to calm that Pandora's box and have a leash on this. Now, have you seen Kill Bill Volume 1 with Uma Thurman? That happens to be one of my favorite movies. So, Uma Thurman is brutally attacked by her enemy, and she lies comatose in a hospital. And suddenly she wakes up from coma, and there are people coming to kill her, and she's paralyzed from the hip. Lower part of the body is absolutely paralyzed, and she tries to run away, and she gets into a parking lot, and she tries to practice mindfulness. She looks at her toe, big toe of her foot. She focuses dedicatedly, concentrates, and says, wiggle your big toe. That's the command that she gives. She actually speaks to her toe. Yeah, I'm sure you can go to YouTube and just click the words "wiggle your big toe, Kill Bill, Volume 1," and you'll see this, and you'll actually see this.
What is that? Maria
Maria-
watches movies. I
Maria,
don't.
so right now she's having the visual imagery that I spoke to you about. The process.
I've been trying, but it doesn't work.
She talks to her toe all the time. She's talking to her toes.
So she actually wiggles her big toe despite being paralyzed. That's what mindfulness does to you, because it works wonders inside your body, with your physical body, and you also have the ability to control things in your surrounding. Now
That's what they call mind over matter.
yes, mind over matter,
Mind over
absolutely.
matter.
Yes, Yes, yes. That's what I keep saying to myself whenever I'm doing my yoga practice and I don't want to stretch a little more. And I say, mind over matter, sweetie.
I say the same. When I talk to Maria, if she doesn't mind, it doesn't matter. Not the same? No,
Yeah,
not the same.
we've seen so many. So we've seen so many people complain and lament over things, saying that I wish I had it in my hand. I wish I could change my destiny. I wish I could do something about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, here I am telling you, you are the superhero and Wonder Woman of your life. You can have it your way. You don't need to wish for somebody else to come and fly in and do some magic. You have that gift right there. It is time that you harness that skill of yours and make your mind work. So now I'm going to give you 10 principles, and these 10 principles can be like 10 mini workouts for your mind so that you set your mindset. Okay, so this mindset setting workout technique is, how do you really start by something very positive, and what's the principle number one to decide on how to work on your mindset? The first principle is learn to create and not compete. We as human beings, we often get lost in the rat race, and we're always competing with your colleague, your neighbor, a woman in front of you, a woman behind you, in queues, etc., etc., etc. Competition. Why do we have to look for competition outside us? Why can't we look at competition inside us? You need to compete with yourself
I love it.
rather than competing with the person standing next to you. It is only then you will be able to create something which is novel, which is innovative, which is extraordinary. If you try to compete with somebody else, you may end up like a better copy or a better imitation of someone. But when you're trying to compete with yourself, you're definitely going to give out something absolutely original, absolutely extraordinary. And there is no room for copies and imitations in this world. It doesn't last. It is original, that is absolutely true, and stays and is remembered and recognized. So, point number one, principle number one, if you want to have a mentally tough life and a very strong mind, start believing in creating and competing with yourself rather than competing with the person who's sitting next to you or some other person that you really envy, or there's jealousy. You don't need to. You have so many gifts. Realize those strengths, focus on their assets, and start competing with yourself. The
Love it.
second principle, thank you. The second principle that I would want to focus on is risk. We as human beings often fear, oh, that's very risky. I don't think I should go that way. Well, there's risk forever in your life. Even the roof that is there on my head right now, it may collapse. Anything may happen. There'll be a short circuit, you may be some electric mishap, anything can happen. There is risk always in your life. Rather than avoiding it, learn to manage it. If you develop this mindset where you learn to manage the risk, you will be doing away with the fear of failure. And that is what is the biggest obstacle
Managed risk.
in the growth of a human
Manage the
being.
risk.
Phenomenal.
Yes. So learn to manage risk rather than avoiding it. The third principle is move out of your comfort zone. Because if you're going to stay in your comfort zone and you expect to have a wow life, a great life, a world class life, there's no growth happening there. If you
That's
don't
like,
move out, if you don't move out of your comfort zone, sorry, you're going to be stagnated. So if you want to become into something which is absolutely phenomenal, you want people to look up to you, you want to set an example, well, you have to move out of your comfort zone. Even if you have detractors and haters in the initial phase of your journey, that's fine, that's okay. Learn to handle that negativity, because that gives you that push, and that will allow you to fire up your belly. So move out of your comfort zone. That's my third principle. My fourth principle is Do not develop a lottery mentality. Oh, I wish this would happen to me, and rather I would wait for it to happen to me. I have come across so many individuals where they just feel that it is best left to fate and destiny for things to happen to them, where they don't want to create opportunities for them, they don't want to open the doors. I often remember the story which my mother used to tell me when I was a little child. She always used to tell me that there was this really religious guy who used to go to the temple and pray every day and tell, "Hey God, I want to win a lottery, please, please, please." And he kept doing that every day. Finally, he died. When he died, he went to heaven and he questioned God. Why did you not, give me that lottery? I prayed religiously every day coming to your temple. And God just says, you had to buy a lottery ticket, dude. I would have made you win.
Right.
Anyways, I'm proud.
You didn't buy the lottery.
To buy the lottery ticket.
That's right.
So this is something, yeah, it may be interesting, it may be funny, but 90% of people are doing this. They want to win the lottery, but they don't buy the lottery ticket.
Very
So
true.
so my fourth principle is, do not have the lottery mentality. And if you want God to shower his choicest of blessings on you, you have to create that opportunity for yourself. The doors will open thereafter. Well, the next principle is,
Wow.
leave no room for fear. Because if you have fear, fear often hides behind that facade of security. Say, I'm secure, I want to lead a very stable life. Actually, it's the fear that's hiding behind, and you want to sugarcoat it with words like security, etc. So leave no room for fear. Then my next principle is, develop a vision and do away with microwave thinking. We always want success in 30 seconds, like
Yes.
just like heating our food in 30 seconds. That microwave thinking doesn't really work if you want to be a player and a champion in the long run. If you're going to be a strong performer, you need to do away with microwave thinking. The next point is, focus on becoming a problem solver and a solution provider rather than counting your problems. Oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this. Go on and on and on. It's nothing but ranting. Try and find solutions, not only for yourselves but also for others. Try to show that there is a silver lining in everything, because when you change the way you look at things, your perception, that is what really matters.
That's
The
very
next,
important that you mentioned. Sorry to interrupt in this part, but Al is always telling me that focus on the solution, not on the problem. And
absolutely,
when you focus on the solution, you really see several options. But when you focus on the problem, you just don't see any solution.
Yep.
absolutely,
And I always tell our team, never come to me with a problem unless you come with a solution. Don't even talk to me. It's a great
that's a
principle.
true leader.
That's my deal.
Especially with technology. Come with a solution.
Yeah, just fix it. I don't want to know how it works. Fix
Yeah.
it.
You just want to know it's done.
It's, great principles. Wow. Keep going.
Right. So
I'm already on my 10 times already. I've been through each of the steps. So my brain's burning out.
thumbs up. Your
I'm
mental
building.
Okay,
Right.
my next principle is my eighth principle: follow your gut. Your intuition, your gut can never be wrong. It may be the entire world that stands up and tells you to do vice versa, but always follow your gut. If you think it's not going to work for you, don't do it. Your emotion, your inner self, your intuition, your gut, that will not lie to you ever. Well, my ninth principle is very important for any and everybody who's into a business or an entrepreneurial venture, etc. Differentiate between logic and emotions. It's very important that you see the objective reality, the facts, the truth. Of course, we are human beings, and emotions are the reason that we are driven, to do anything. We need to differentiate between logic and emotion, especially when there's commerce involved. Okay, the 10th principle is you need to get fired up. If you want to launch yourself, you have to become a rocket. You have to ignite that spark and you have to get fired up to actually tell the world that I have arrived. And when you have that fire in your belly and that spark, which is very visible to others, you will definitely create a very dominating aura, which will, anyways, send your detractors and haters far, far away. And it will make you so mentally tough that you become an inspiration for them. Not only intimidating them, but you're an inspiration for them.
I love to intimidate.
In a bit to do that, you end up inspiring as well.
Exactly. That's called passion. Passion.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
But
So
one of the
these-
things that you said about the instinct, follow your guts, is usually that is very typical in a woman, right? Like you have a sixth sense or an instinct that's telling you to not do it. In men, I don't see too much this type of, let's call it sense, because they just act, and sometimes they don't really think about that sixth sense,
We made a decision years ago that when something doesn't feel right to Maria, we don't do it. It's true. But she knows that every time I did something and said, no, let's do it my way, I was wrong because she had a gut feeling. So I stopped. Whatever Maria says.
I'm so happy that you've partnered with each other so well that you complement each other. So as a package, there is no weakness at all. You
No.
fill in for her, she fills in for you everywhere.
It's Maria's way or the highway.
No, that is not true.
Those are signs of a dynamic leader, dynamic, empowered woman. That's how I would want to put it.
I like that. But it's good. It's good. I think that the best thing that I came up with from this is that your goal in life is to be better than the person you were yesterday.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So
a better
every day
woman.
you're not competing with anybody, you're competing with who you were yesterday. I think that's the message I got today. And that could change somebody's life.
But I think she didn't finish yet the principles.
Oh, you weren't
Or you
finished?
did?
Yeah, she
I
wasn't done.
finished the 10 principles. Those were the 10 principles that help you develop the foundation for this mental toughness. And I was
love it.
going to go to the next concept. So the
Go
next
ahead. We're interrupting all the time.
Yeah, we keep it the
What's
right.
wrong with you, huh?
not at all. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. So the next concept is the clarity of mind concept. So what is this clarity of mind concept? Now, I'll give you an example. You must have heard somebody saying, I work so hard, but I live such an average life. Now, you need to find, or rather decode, that sentence. Now, delusion is the biggest conspirator against this concept called clarity of mind. Now, this is a delusion that the person says that I work so hard. If you would be working so hard, you would not be living an average life. So that individual is living in a delusion that he is working so hard. And the after effect is an average life. In the first place, if you would not be working that hard, how would you really have this kind of a life that you just described? So that's delusion. So if you want to declutter your mind, if you want to defog your mind, you need to understand and address your flaws, your negativities, point blank, with clarity. If I have worked hard, great. If I have not worked hard, it's not okay for me to expect those many riches or that kind of abundance or that kind of wealth because I haven't worked that hard. So honesty, sincerity, diligence, all on one side, and delusion on the other side. So that's the entire concept of the clarity of mind. Imagine life to be like a ladder. You need to climb this ladder higher and higher in life. You need clarity whether you've kept the ladder right in place. You need clarity on the fact that how many steps is it going to take you to reach to the end of the ladder. You need clarity on the fact that where is the ladder going to lead you. You need clarity on the fact that is the ladder broken, Are you going to be steering away from your goal midway? And lastly, you need to have clarity on the fact that do you have the skill to climb that ladder? If you see, this is my way of metaphorically, telling you that there's a lot of introspection and evaluation that we have to do and ask ourselves questions, because the answer lies right there. And that's how you're making yourself mentally tough. We often have this blame game situation where we are blaming circumstances and
Yep.
situations and people, for that matter, other persons, but we fail to ask these questions to ourselves. So that's why I gave
And
that example of
you're right on that, because when you say, just to give an example, oh, I wish I can have that body, oh, I wish I can lose weight. You keep wishing, but you don't do too much to do it. Like, oh, I want to have this or I want to have that, but you don't start a diet, you don't start a routine, you don't do exercises. So obviously, you're not going to have the result you want. And it happens the same with the business. I wish I can be successful. I wish I can have a large organization. But how you're going to achieve it if you don't start doing it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You're absolutely bang on in that example.
Wow.
So the next concept that I wanted to bring to the fore is there are two kinds of people in this world. One is a worrier and the other is a warrior. So we need to learn how to differentiate
A
between warriors
warrior and a
and
warrior.
warriors. Yes, a warrior and a warrior. So a
Ah,
warrior will be somebody
that's a
who's always
great.
worrying about money, worrying about time, worrying about health, worrying about image, worrying about resources. And a warrior, a fighter, a warrior is somebody who's when a warrior is worrying about money, a warrior will know that he or she can create the opportunities even if tomorrow all his wealth is taken away from him. He has that kind of courage, that valor, and those guts that he can start from zero, even if everything's taken away from him. That's a warrior compared to a warrior in terms of
I
money.
like it. Wow.
Like it?
I'd love it. I'm going to have a rum and coke right now.
I'm going to put all the bullet points at my office. So I'm going to repeat
No,
that
we're going
every
to
day.
start little sheets. And the other thing that you said, which was amazing, is that we are always working hard, but we need to work smart, not hard. So there's
Yeah.
a big difference between working hard and working smart. So you can
Yeah.
spend a lot less energy working smart than working hard without a
Yes.
plan,
Right.
without counting the steps on your ladder.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So I work hard and you work smart.
I don't remember the last time you worked hard, but
Yeah, but that is very true what you're
she
saying.
doesn't
It's
need a
like
PowerPoint. She is amazing.
yes.
You don't need a PowerPoint. I mean, seriously, your presentation and the way you express yourself, it would, if you have a PowerPoint, it's going to take away from your effectiveness, because I'm hypnotized by your presentation. And if you had a PowerPoint, it would not be as effective. Let them buy the book, but you don't need a PowerPoint.
Thank you. Thank you so
All
much.
this would be in the book.
Yes, yes. These are small parts of the book that I'm sharing. Yes, yes. Just
I
small
love it.
snippets.
I
So,
loved
so
it.
you think it's going to be an interesting book?
It's going to be
Oh,
a
definitely. Yes.
top seller. We're going to promote it worldwide.
Yes. Great
Thank
book.
you.
Because all these things are so important and nobody pays attention to the mental part, but it's
Mm-mm.
important. It is important. You cannot do anything. You cannot have a good routine or exercises or succeeding in life, whatever you do for living, if inside you don't have that health.
Yes.
So
And you
that-
don't, you don't know how to manage situations that come up that you never expected, unless your mind is prepared to deal with the situations. It's not the problem, it's the way that you respond to the problem. That's how you live
Yes.
well,
Mhm.
happy, and successful.
So-
Oh, I learned something.
Go ahead. You're doing great. We're learning a lot.
Yes.
Right. So shall I proceed? There are a few more points
Oh,
that
yes.
I've discussed
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the warrior versus the warrior concept.
That was good.
Okay. So with respect to time, a warrior will always feel, oh, I'm short on time, I'm short on time. Whereas a warrior will know how to harness that time. He or she will know what is the time that I need to dedicate for my enjoyment, what is the time that I need to dedicate for my work. So there's the smart work that you just mentioned, Al, that comes in. A warrior will never really worry about losing time. That's another point. So let's come to health, because that's something very precious to each one of us. A warrior will always worry about, oh, my health. And a warrior will know that if you have a healthy mind, you ought to have a healthy body. And a healthy mind and a healthy body is going to have a beautiful combination. So no worries on that at all. So that makes you a warrior, a fighter. Again, there. Then coming to image, so many of us worry about image. Oh, my photograph on social media, it's been printed this way, or this newspaper did not print this angle, that angle, whatever, etc., etc. Whereas a warrior knows that it is his or her actions that builds the image, not a photograph. It is the activities that he or she does. Those are responsible for building the image of a person. And this image is something that lasts long, because the photograph that somebody saw in the media is just going to be remembered by a few people for a few weeks. But the actions that a warrior puts in builds his or her image for a really long period of time.
Wow.
Also, a warrior will never have any ego driven activities. He'll always have activities related to his generosity, her magnanimity, etc., etc. So it's no ego, more of action related image building exercise that gives you satisfaction mentally, as well as it has a great feeling, chills running through your body in the positive sense, not in the negative sense.
Wow.
And the last point is, we always worry about our resources. Am I really going to be over or exploit or exhaust my resources? A warrior is always thinking about those. A warrior actually knows never to push or exhaust those resources. That is why he or she will plan carefully and behave and conduct himself or herself in a very prudent manner, so much so that he or she will never be out of resources. So again, the planning, the monitoring, the meticulously executing, that's how you don't exploit or exhaust your resources. So these were these few points that I wanted to differentiate the warriors from the warriors.
Absolutely, and that's true. I never thought about the difference between a warrior and a
And a
warrior.
warrior. But this is you're gonna have a bestseller that's gonna turn into a movie that you're gonna be the star of the movie.
Yes, anything's possible if you put your
Yes.
mind to it.
Mine,
Exactly.
mine matters.
I love it. Wow. There's- what
So,
else
so,
do you have?
so far, so good.
So
Oh,
far, so
phenomenal.
great.
Okay, I have three more concepts to discuss, and then I think we can take questions. Is that okay?
Yes, sure.
Great.
So, my next concept that I'm going to talk about is abundance. All of us are running behind abundance, every individual on this planet Earth. So, I classify abundance into three types, and the definition of abundance comes from only our mind, nowhere else but our own mind. And we are supposed to define the abundance according to our needs. I'm going to give three options. All of us viewing us today can choose to categorize them in one of the three categories that I'm going to talk about. So the first category is type A, where individuals are only interested in accumulating riches as a part of their abundance. And when I say riches, I'm talking about materialistic stuff like a car, a bank balance, a house, etc., etc. Riches. So that's type A. Now, type B is wealth. Now, what is wealth? Wealth is an individual who needs materialistic goods, where your bank balance, your car, your house is including, plus needs professional growth, plus needs mental peace, plus needs family, plus needs love. All these things together, I put them in one box called wealth. So the type A was riches, type B is wealth, and
Well,
type C is is for sages, where they seek only salvation or moksha or emancipation or freedom, just peace. So that's the type C. So we individuals can choose to be in any of these three categories, and no category is lesser or higher than the other. All the three are at the same level. It's okay for somebody to want the riches. It's okay for somebody to want salvation. It is okay for somebody to want health. But you decide, rather than going by hearsay or following the herd mentality, is what I would want to call it. Do not go by other people's rules and principles, and definitely not by what the society has indoctrinated in you. You make your own rules, and if you want certain things, you have to work for it. If you want only riches in your life, and that's the kind of abundance you want in life, work towards it. If you want salvation, work towards it. If you want wealth, where it's a combination of materialistic goods, mental peace, health, family, professional growth, you got to work over each aspect and strike that entire balance in all of these. Well, I choose the wealth part, the type B. I am the type B. So I'm very honest. I have no qualms in admitting I don't choose salvation. I don't choose riches. I choose wealth. I need everything. I need a car. I need a house. I need a bank balance. I need professional growth. I need family. I need love. I need health. I need everything.
She wants everything. Good.
Yes, why is it not possible to have everything? Because if you dedicate a part of your life, your part of your focus and concentration to each of these sectors of your life, you can have it all. There is nothing like you can't have it all. You
And
can.
what you said is so important, because I always remember that a long time ago somebody told me you cannot have it all. And then I was thinking, wait a minute, that is not true. Yes,
That's
I
not-
can.
Yes,
It's
you
just
can.
you need to work for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I'm of that opinion, Maria. If there is anybody who comes and says to me, you can't have it all, I just look at them and say, like, I think you need to broaden the horizon of your thinking.
I like the answer.
Wow.
That's a very non-abusive way of conveying to the opposite person that, you just made a boo-boo.
That's good.
Amazing. I love it.
So that was my concept of because that adds to our mental toughness. If we are clear on what we really want in terms of abundance, and that has really struck each one of us during this pandemic, because we were
Yes.
clueless, whether we wanted family, whether we wanted money, whether we wanted health. We didn't know what we wanted, and this pandemic put us in that spot. And in fact, maybe God sitting up there, He wanted each one of us sitting in every corner of the world to sit and think, what is it that you're really running after? Do you even know? Or is it just because
Wow.
everybody else is running and you just participate in the marathon and just go on and you don't know where the finish line is?
That's amazing. I mean, my
Yeah.
mind is just.
Al is quiet. That is amazing,
I'm
because
actually- no, I'm
obviously
actually thinking.
everything you said, he's thinking.
I'm actually thinking.
He's going back to the 10 principles.
Yes, I'm going back to the.
I can imagine, I can visualize Al doing a bench press with his mind.
I do it all day. That's it.
With his mind.
Exactly, a bench press with my mind. Good.
But a lot of the things that you mentioned in all this way to think is really about also a leadership style. So when you see a leader, I mean, for me, a leader is a combination of elements, not only one thing. A leader is not the person that is giving you orders. A leader is that person that is inspiring you.
The internet, because everybody's
That's
started
the
school
problem.
today. So right now,
How is the
Amazing.
calendar, the school calendar in India?
It's the online classes have begun almost a month and a half back, but right now it's raining. I can see a little stormy kind of.
Yeah, we can hear some now.
yeah. So go ahead and wrap it up, and
Okay.
we're gonna edit this. So
Okay. So do you want me to finish my last couple of slides, or
yes,
just?
yes.
Well,
yes.
at this point, I don't know if we are actually still on the presentation.
Are we on air?
We're checking now.
Yeah, we're checking now. So
I think we're live. When do you expect the book to be released?
Oh, I'm still working on it. It'll take
Good,
some
good,
time.
good,
I want to
good.
give it my 200%, 500%.
Yeah, that requires a lot
Absolutely.
of time.
Good.
Yeah. I believe, yeah, we're still there.
Yeah, we're still live.
We're live? Okay. So then I'll finish the last couple of slides that I was supposed to. So yes, we spoke about abundance. The next thing that I was going to talk about are two things. I'm glad you mentioned about the leadership quality, because I was going to talk about that, the leadership quality. And each one of us is gifted that leadership quality. A few of us have found that awakening that yes, we are leaders. A few of us don't realize, the entire life passes by and we go to our grave not realizing that we had that leadership quality. It's just that we had to awaken that. And few of us are the fortunate ones who may realize it with our gift of communication. We may understand our employees or colleagues or family members better. Sometimes we value emotions, and it is important as a leader to value emotions as well as emphasize on the need to assess on the basis of objective reality, facts, and truths that I have already mentioned before in my previous part of the webinar. I also feel a leader should welcome a feedback system and not have an ego. Whether that feedback comes from juniors or your peers, or it could be your family members, because that helps you just improve so much on it. So that's the part of the leadership quality that I was going to mention. A leader is also somebody who's more analytical and less judgmental, I feel. So that really sets you apart from the herd. So if you can try and incorporate these ideologies, that will actually make you a very productive leader, and you not only end up motivating your managers or your peers or your colleagues, but also have that healthy environment which kind of embraces your belief system very readily, because you need people who are going to believe in you, have the faith, have the trust in you, and are ready to walk with you till the finish line. So that's what I really expect when leadership qualities. Apart from the leadership qualities, I was going to mention also about the mental blinders. Now, I remember this quote from the former president of India, very renowned scientist APJ Abdul Kalam. He said that dreams are something that you don't see when you're sleeping. Dreams are actually the ones that don't allow you to sleep, and that is why I have this concept called as the mental blinder, which obviously comes from the horse blinder. When you have a goal, you need to be focused, absolutely determined, and only focus and determination is sometimes not enough. You need to have that sustained concentration, and this sustained concentration is required in thought as well as action. Because if you just keep thinking and don't execute it, it's not going to allow you to reach that goal. And finally, you need that commitment. Is going to take you to the end. Now, coming to the last part, which is programming of mind. Now, program of the mind may sound like computer programming or something very gizmotic, but it's very simple. There are these three basic principles that we need to follow. The first thing is, if you're going to turn a blind eye to something which is negatively present in yourself, in your personality, or your organization as an entrepreneur, turning a blind eye will be faking it, but it will not last long. So you won't make it even if you fake it. So if there is an issue, if there is a problem, sit up, take notice, address the situation with a lot of grace, dignity, as well as courage, because sometimes it requires a lot of courage to face that negative factor. You may not like it, but then you have to face it. So that's the first principle of programming of the mind. The second is the white moment. What is this white moment? Now, all we individuals are very emotionally driven beings on planet Earth. There is a why associated with everything that we do. The reason why we are doing this webinar, there's a why. Why I'm speaking, there's a why Maria and Al are conducting this webinar on this platform. There's a why associated with all the people who are watching us. There's a why in everybody's life. This
Why?
why has to be really strong. If your why is strong, then you will have the highest possible energy in that aura, and that is called the white moment. And nobody on this planet Earth can defeat your white moment because you are a peak performer then. So if you can really embrace the concept of the white moment, it's going to make your mental toughness, strength to another level. It will take you to another level. And all in all, to sum it all, I want to say that mental toughness and this entire programming, etc., that I spoke about, is nothing but it's just the art of mastering your thoughts, your emotions that are put in performance situations, which are especially under pressure. And obviously, all of us have been under pressure because of the pandemic. And the outcome becomes a very nonchalant and a very toughened version of a shatterproof mind. That is what I call. If you can reach that shatterproof mind level, well, you've nailed it. Your mental toughness workout has been great, and you're a mental toughness junkie then.
That's phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you. With this, I would like to end my webinar. Over to you, Maria and Al.
Wow, I'm speechless, and that's not easy for me to be speechless.
I'm so glad. Thank you. I'm so glad you liked it.
Outstanding. We have to bring it back. This is everybody has to learn all these principles. It's the most basic principles to live a happy, successful, balanced life.
Yeah, and I think we should also do a video for our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Just to talk about all the points and the principles you mentioned are not just important for everybody, but especially for entrepreneurs, people that is trying to create a plan for their business. So starting Insight is going to help them a lot because everything you mentioned is so important.
Yeah.
Talk about the leadership, the 10 principles, the way you think, the way you act. Some of the things that I remember because there was a lot of information, but I remember the you don't compete with others, compete with yourself because that is important, which is true. Sometimes you focus more on other people's life and not what you are doing, or you're always jealous about what somebody else is doing and you don't focus on what you can do. So that is important, and it's in every level, a personal and professional level. Business level. So all these things are very important, and I believe that if you will start applying these concepts every day in our lives, we're going to live much better. We're going to have happy lives because it's not about being rich, it's about being wealthy.
Wealthy. So
Absolutely.
you're going to be wealthy, and then we have everything because there's nobody's going to tell you that you can't have everything anymore.
Yes.
Yes.
I was going to say, Rodney told me I can't have everything.
What I need to answer? What was the answer, Akshata?
Sorry?
When somebody tells me you cannot have it all, what was the answer?
Oh, you need to tell them that you may just need to broaden the horizon of your thinking.
Broaden the horizon of your thinking, you idiot. Oh, that's what I would say. I'm sorry.
That's the part where it's on the
I'll have to bring in my pageantry-related experience there. As a pageant queen, I'm never rude to anyone. Even if the opposite person comes and abuses me, I'll maintain my grace and my dignity. So that's my intelligent way of answering and give it back. Because as a strong, empowered woman, I'm not going to keep shut and take it lying down. I'm definitely going to give it back. So this is the sweetest, the most graceful answer that you can give, and the opposite person goes like, "Oh, she hit me hard. She hit me with intelligence.
Yep. Exactly.
Yes, that's true.
I
That's
love it.
true. And also,
Wow.
to finish this presentation, I want to share with you that Dr. Akshata Prabhu is going to be also mentor of the Global Arts Academy, and one of the courses that she's going to be teaching is about how to prepare to lose. Because sometimes, you know, you participate in all these beauty pageants, but you are not mentally prepared to compete, to win or to lose, which is very important. Because I've been doing beauty pageants since I was 17 years old, so I'm very involved with the industry, and I saw a lot of girls going through that disappointment stage, and they were crying and they were not happy because they didn't know how to control the fact that they were losing. But on the opposite, also, I saw girls winning the contest and they were not ready to win, and you know, they didn't know how to manage the title. So that's very important. And that's another topic, another seminar, but
We
I
have
just
so
want to share
many-
the news with you.
Yeah, we have so many things to take from this. Another thing that you can touch on with all your great information is for people that are bullied at school. Because if they have confidence that they have all of your skills, the bullying won't bother them. And they're going to say something really smart.
With all
With
those
grace,
answers, we're going to learn from
I have to
her.
learn grace. I know I have to learn grace.
You know what? I'm 36 and a half years old right now. I have realized that there are bullies in school, there are bullies in college, there are bullies even when you're an entrepreneur.
Yes. Oh,
Bullies
absolutely.
doesn't stop with
Absolutely.
any age bracket. Bullies when I'm 40 or 50 or 60, because there are going to be these kind of people that set which comes across and just tries to poke fun at whatever you're doing. Initially, they'll
Yep.
definitely call you abnormal, but later when you've attained your laurels, you want to have a share of your laurels.
Well, we're going to have to cut the time. We could
Yes.
talk for hours because your information is invaluable. Invaluable. We're
Thank
extremely honored to have you today with
you, sir.
so important for people at every level. And we got to let the world know all these great things that you're sharing with us, because today was not enough. So we appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad both of you really enjoyed the webinar. Yes, I would have loved to go on, and because of paucity of time, we have to end it here. But yes, like you said, let's keep it for another day.
Yes, we can't wait.
Yes. We are very happy to have you in our show today, and we're going to be sharing your presentation with all the registrants for this event. But this is just the beginning, because the second part of this is a video that we're going to be posting on YouTube. So we're going to be talking about that after we finish this presentation. Thanks again. Dr. Akshata Prabhu was today with us and sharing this important information about the mental toughness workout. So thank you,
Amazing.
everybody, for watching this
Bye-bye.
webinar. We'll
Yes.
see you next time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.